Reason versus intuition. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self, within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Jesus, when addressing his critics, appealed to reason and common sense. In his training of the disciples, however, he, like all great masters, encouraged in them the development of a higher faculty, soul intuition. For it is only by intuition that spiritual perceptions are achieved. In the chapter 16 of the Gospel of St. Matthew, we find Jesus drawing on the intuition of his disciples by asking them who they thought he was in reality. They immediately understood that what he wanted from them was a subtle answer and not some obvious reply based on his nationality, sex, and the like. Peter, it was at last who understood and answered the question on its intended level, the spiritual. Thou art the Christ, he said, the Son of the living God. And Jesus turned to him, saying, Blessed art thou, Simon, son of Jonah, for not by human nature was this truth revealed to thee, but by my heavenly Father. And I tell thee this also, thou art Peter, which is to say, a rock, and upon this rock will I build my church, and never will the powers of darkness overwhelm it. Jesus was pleased with his disciple for relating to the question on its deepest level. Reason could not have given Peter that answer. The answer came through the faculty of soul intuition and proved him thereby to be a spiritually advanced disciple. It was his intuitive perception, that insight which cannot be shaken by tempests of reasonable doubt, that Jesus praised in referring to him as a rock. The church he referred to next was the edifice of cosmic consciousness. Any outer church institution would have to depend, as in fact the Christian churches have always done, on the level of understanding of its individual leaders and members. Peter's intuitive perceptions could never have been passed on to an outward succession of prelates. Clarity comes by direct soul perception. Confusion results from excessive dependence on reason as the guide to understanding. As the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita states, when your intellect, at present confused by the diversity of teachings in the scriptures, becomes steadfast at the ecstasy of deep meditation, then you will achieve final union with God. Thus, through Holy Scriptures, God has spoken to mankind. Good morning, happy Sunday to everyone. For those that do not know me, I'm Shivani, And today I will have another name. This is Jayadev, and he will also have a different name, because we will go back to the Vedic times, thousands of years ago in the Himalaya, when the great rishis would live. The rishi that studied and wrote, composed the great books of wisdom, the Vedas, the Panchas, and sometimes they would gather and find these moments where they would discuss and have debates. It was a moment of progress, of interest for the rishis and for the disciples. One rishi that was considered the greatest of his time was called Jnanavalkya, and he had written one. Oh, that's very hard to say. But today, Jnanavalkya, here he is, and it's Jayadev. In these times, there were not only men, there were also women rishi. Even if it's not very easy to find their story, but the most famous of these women, it was Dardi, one of the most famous women rishi. So we will make a debate going through our reason and also our intuition. How with this theme, through intuition or through reason, can we find God? I am the voice of reason, and I propose that it's through reasoning. When the reason is disciplined and well stable, and that is the most powerful instrument to find God. So maybe you have this thought, well, when I try to find God through my meditation, thoughts come in. I distract myself. What is this instrument of reasoning? Our thoughts are not the power of the mind. They are slaves. And a mind that is strong, disciplined, will be as a spade, the spade of wisdom that open the road. We have listened to this song of Swami Kriyananda where this little young girl asks, why? It is so important that we use the power of our reasoning to ask these important questions. Why this universe? Who am I? And we see in the ceremony, the Sunday ceremony of light, where there is that part that says, where the reasoning asks these questions. Who am I? Why am I here? All of these questions. The power of the mind. What is the power of the mind? These are concentration, imagination, willpower, and the reasoning. And in the path of self-realization, we see that our practice has this scope to reinforce the power of the mind. Concentration is reinforced through the practice of concentration. A basic practice in our path, for this path towards God. Energization exercises are ideal to develop other powers. That is the willpower. power. Let's listen to this mind and these powers of the mind. Yogananda explained to us that the mind is composed by 4 aspects. The first one is manas, that means our capability of perceiving. It is so important. Without perception, we have no life. There is the buddhi, that means the intellect, the capacity of understanding truth, the capacity of discernment and discrimination from what is real, truth, or not real. The intellect, reasoning, is great. It has a great importance. There is hankara, that is our ego. That means our identification with this material world. And then ichita, that means the attachment to that we desire. We see the buddhi, the intellect, reasoning. The Buddha was not its name, it was a title. He was born in India as Siddhartha Gautama, but it was through his intellect that he found God. Through his buddhi, he became the Buddha. So for us, it is important to develop these powers of the mind. I will read to you what Yogananda has said. The mind has great power, but that power has to be developed. When that is developed, then you can do anything. Develop the power, and again he says, develop the power and strength of your mind. In an article, Yogananda wrote, by the power of concentration, man can use the untold power of mind to accomplish that which he desires. That for us is God. The real development of man consists of the development of his mind power. So we see the importance, of developing this power of our reasoning. Yogananda also talks to us about the pure reasoning. What does this mean? What is this purity? That is not influenced by distraction, by emotion, by the subconscious mind, by skepticism, dogma. When reasoning is pure, it becomes an instrument to find God. To find God, each one of us must develop our buddhi, our reasoning, to become each one of us a Buddha. Now let's listen to the Rishi that is coming. We will listen to the second part of this debate, and I represent the feeling. Through feeling, we can easier and in a more fast way find God and the infinite of our soul, of our Atman. And rishis spoke for thousands of years. Paramahansa Yogananda was a rishi, and he says the pure sentiment and the pure reasoning both bring to intuition, but we can reach intuition even faster through sentiment, through our feelings, more than through our reasoning. This is why women are more intuitive than men. They go through sentiment, but Maharishi Yogananda says if men learn to think with calmness, they as well may develop intuition. Sentiment is that let us see through the lines in this world of appearance. What is not apparent is difficult to perceive it, if not through the sentiment. There is a reality that is different, that is divine all around us, that you can feel. You can feel God. God is like the wind. You cannot you cannot see it, but you can feel it. But attention, it's just like with the buddhi. It's the same thing in this duality. If you are in the side of the slave of the sentiment, if it will tie our hands, if our sentiment chitta is emotional and it reacts in an emotional way, when there are the likes and dislikes, then the heart becomes turbulent. And if there is a situation, then I react. And we do this constantly. We react to this world of appearance, and we fall into confusion, into Maya. But when our sentiment, with our practice, calms, when our heart is open, and it is not directed towards the world, but towards the divine or towards the soul, then we perceive that what the rishis of all times have perceived. The heart becomes like a lake, a calm lake, or a mirror, you can say, and this mirror can reflect the divine. This lake, calm lake, can reflect the moon, the divine that is in the skies, in our lives, inside of ours. Intuition awakened in our heart will let you feel much more. You will meet a person and you can with your intuition feel what that person is trying to say, the real message behind it. I need your love, for example. Or you can see a plate of something, of food, and you eat it. It is all well made, but with your intuition you can feel a strange energy. In fact, the cook was not in a very balanced situation, and you can feel it. Swami Kriyananda had a great intuition, and he could feel everything. With his feeling, with his calmness, he taught us that a true rishi or a great yogi has an aura of deep calmness, and this comes from the spirit. With this deep calmness, you perceive everything that is. The reality is the truth behind appearance. There is a story of our great rishis he was called Rishi Satyamaranash, and he wanted to hide from everyone in the jungle. it was impossible to find a great jungle in these incredible Indian forests. There were two disciples that were very devotional, and one had intuition, very developed intuition, and they both had an ardent desire to find this great rishi and their master. So this intuitive disciple said, let's go to the left, let's go to the right, let's take this path, let's go further to the left, and then let's go to the right. We have to walk along through this path. And at a certain moment he said, I feel that here, close to us, the master is. And in fact, he was there with only the feeling of his open heart. He could perceive what to do and how to arrive. And this is what the Vedas teach us, to open our hearts. Our Father Patanjali has taught us Yogas Chitta Vritti. When all the vortexes of the heart have calmed, then you understand yourself in a deep way. You understand the other person in a deep way. You understand the atom, you understand the galaxies, and even feeling, you can feel God, the intuition and the power of God, and the power of the soul to know God. And then intuition has many places in the heart. One is in the heart, in the body, sorry. One is in the spiritual eye, the different positions where intuition is, and we can go further to perceive truth. The truth of the rishis is, the more we are in Maya, in illusion, the more the sentiment and reason are totally separate, like different worlds. When we live in superconsciousness, then they seem always more the same thing. Om, Om, Om. I want to finish with words of the Maharishi, great Rishi Paramahansa Yogananda, from Whispers of Eternity. Teach me, O Spirit, by meditation to stop the storm of breath, the skipping of my mental restlessness, and all the sensory disturbances that rage on the lake of my mind. Let the magic wand of my intuition halt the gale of passions and unnecessary desires. In the rippleless lake of my mind, then let me behold the undistorted reflection of the moon of my soul, glistening ever with the reflected light of thy presence. Om Shanti, Shanti. So, which one of these are you more convinced? The reason or the intuition? Obviously, through our spiritual path, we must conciliate these two aspects. The reason, as other powers, concentration, willpower and imagination, are powers of the conscious mind. But the intuition is the faculty of the superconscious mind. But they must work in harmony. the superconscious mind and intuition, the capacity of knowing without information, just intuition, is a little bit like Brahma, the quality of Brahma that creates. And through intuition we receive inspiration, realizations, clarification. This is Brahma, intuition. But then we need to act these inspirations in our life to be able to absorb, digest. So the power of the reasoning is like Visu that takes instructions from Brahma and then maintains everything. I will read to you what the Maharishi says. Maharishi Yogananda says, pure reasoning and calm feeling lead to intuition. This is how we arrive, with reason, pure reason, and sentiment, calm sentiment. Therefore, the first requisite in developing it is intuition, is to calmly reason and calmly feel. And calmly feel everything. So, what is the key? Calmness is the key. Intuition is developed by exercising common sense, daily introspection, and analysis. These are mental functions of the mind, of the rational mind. Depth of thought and continued activity in one direction, calmness, and best of all, by meditation, holding to its calm after effects. This is the only way. So we have resolved this debate. And I conclude with what we have heard at the beginning, that of the Bhagavad Gita. When your intellect, at present confused by the diversity of teachings in the scriptures, becomes steadfast in the ecstasy of deep meditation, then you will achieve final union with God. So, this debate will conclude with reasoning on one side and intuition on the other, and in the middle, the thing that puts them together, the calmness in deep meditation. This way we will do a great path, a fast development, giving power to our reasoning, rational mind, and to our intuition, putting them both together, going deeply in deep meditation. There, in that calmness, we will find God. Om.